up, everyone? We're back with more Great Ace Attorney. Time to, well, hopefully finish off the final case. We have just presented we have delivered a lot of stuff in order to incriminate this dude. And hopefully we can get the final nails in the coffin. So let's continue on and see what we get. What?
Objection!
This is provocative talk, counsel. Won't you enlighten the court, explain this alleged inconsistency? Iris was right. One lie begets another. The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witnesses' statements. They show that Mr. Graydon had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about, namely, the bloodstain on the coat. I'm not gonna mess around, I only got 2 health left. The bloodstains that were present on Miss Lestrade's coat. That's right, the victim's blood spattered all over her when she shot him. But how could you possibly have known that? Obviously, because I saw her do it through the people and... I feel like all of the culprits always have a moment where they're like, oh shit, I just messed up. The point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie you concocted that is so revealing. You're not making any sense. Then let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the people in the storeroom door? What? Well, obviously Ugh. Has the cat got your tongue, witness? Witness? No, I think the appropriate term here is perpetrator. The peephole on the door was made after the incident occurred, and once I returned to the shop having failed to catch the 2 burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Windibanks constantly carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Well, yes, of course. The place is chock full of pawned articles, and my lads have to thoroughly examine them all. So I gave the order to have officers working around the clock and shifts so we could get through it all. And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gained access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the people in the storeroom door. So the fact that its existence forms the basis of your testimony is completely inexplicable.
Objection!
What do you got to say, you frickin' fancy man? And yet the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place through the people in the door. How on earth is that possible? I don't know, because he frickin' saw us talking about it. Could I have a word, please, Lord Van Zykes? Speak, Inspector. It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now to put in my report. You are staying right here. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so if it's all the same to you, permission denied. Oh. It's not all the same to me, Inspector, not at all. You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes. Also, you were talking to the frickin' dude that's the culprit earlier. I don't trust what you're saying during this case. You've been helpful in the past, but right now, I don't know, man. Of course, sir. Mr. Graydon. You shouldn't have known about the existence of that people. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by someone else. When they were talking earlier, that's what they talked about?
Objection!
Stop there, my learned friend. You realize, I trust, that the words you just uttered have extremely serious implications. Yes. But the defense believes that the details about the case of Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before his testimony. And in fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's really only one person that could be. Who is this person in question, Counsel? Who gave this witness details of the crime scene to facilitate his false testimony? I don't know why you did it, man. You share the same name as me. How can you be a bad guy? Oh, wait.
Take that!
The truth is, it can only have been you, Inspector Gregson. Or me?
Objection!
You had better have some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend. Consider the fact that we have only been aware of Mr. Ashley Graydon's identity for the last few hours. We learned of it only during the course of the trial today. Indeed, preparations for his testimony were made with great urgency during our hour-long recess. While the police executed the subpoena and brought the man here from the communications station. And until that time, Mr. Graydon would have had no idea. No inkling that he would suddenly be required to appear in court. Are you suggesting that until such time as he was summoned? Yes, my lord. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the people. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position, that he would have to defend himself against the accusation that he was the third intruder. You're suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress that he received the information, so that he could commit perjury in order to save his skin. Exactly. And the only person with knowledge of the investigation that he had any contact with is you, Inspector Gregson. This is a bloomin' outrage. Why would I be giving away details of our investigations to this fella, eh? I was summoned to his lordship's chambers during the recess in any case. Have you forgotten that? Oh, we didn't say you did it during the recess. You were talking with that dude during a testimony. Which means... the first time these two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed following the recess. Since then, they've been in full view in the stand, where such illicit discussions couldn't possibly have occurred. Oh, they did occur, though. We were just all ignorant to it. Oh, I've just remembered something, Reno. What is it, Iris? There was one time before, wasn't there? I think it was when Guinea was testifying. Oh yes, now you mention it. When the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve Mr. McGilden's music box from the scene of the crime. That's it. It was during that testimony. Oh, I think Iris is talking there. Whoopsies. I remember finding it strange at the time. There we are. Mr. Graydon and the inspector seem to be having some kind of secret discussion. I wonder what it was about. It would have been possible for you to give Mr. Graydon the information he needed then. You little toll rag, you're making this all up. I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector, for crying out loud. Why would I do something like that? Why would I be giving away confidential details to the likes of this bloke? Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for no gain. But perhaps it was part of a deal of some kind, then it starts to make more sense. What deal, Counsel? I wonder if perhaps in exchange for details about the people at the crime scene, Mr. Graydon agreed to give a certain something to the inspector. I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that, if found to be true, striking a deal of any kind with a witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance. Well,
Objection!
You stay quiet. It's becoming clear that jumping in with accusations is this Nipponese student's specialty. I don't do that. But with the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent on the defense now to present evidence in support of this diabolical claim. Evidence? Just what are you proposing the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of this alleged deal. Oh man. You know things are serious when we go into the mind space here. If Inspector Gregson really did strike a deal with Mr. Graydon, then logically, there's only one thing he could have asked for. That must be it. Reno, do you think it could be? Yes. It's the missing link that would join all the dots together in this puzzle. One sec. Let me save. I only got 2 health. I don't want to mess up. I think I have an idea as to what. I must press you for an answer now, Counsel. What evidence explains the nature of the alleged deal that Inspector Gregson made with the witness? The disc? It's either the music box. It's either the music box itself or the disc.
Take that!
Okay, okay, I got it right. Whew. Inspector Gregson. Beside this murder, is it not true that you've been working on another very important case? What are you getting at now, Sunshine? Is it possible that this other top-secret case is what's alluded to in this newspaper article here? You know what I just realized? Not related to the case, but I thought for a second, and I was like, you know, why does Gregson keep calling us Sunshine? And I just realized, is it because we're from the land of the rising sun? If so, it's certainly something. I'm surprised it took me until the end of the game to figure that out. The classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice. Well, actually, we only started seeing Gregson in Case 4. I mean, technically, we saw him at the very end of Case 3 in a cutscene, but whatever. Now, how the bleeding Nora could you... We discovered, during the course of this trial, the music box deposited at Windibanks by Magnus McGilded. A special music box designed to play 2 discs at once. It would seem very likely now that encoded on the pair of discs that were in Miss McGilded's possession are the leaked classified secrets. So I put it to you, Inspector, that in order to recover the second of the disc containing those secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Graydon in which you exchanged the disc for details of the case. Oh shit, here's the theme. Do 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 do. Dun 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 dun. On the day of the incident, when we met you at Windibanks, you said this. I'll be taking that whatever it is of McGilded's down to the yard, thank you very much, so hand it over. No, don't give it to him, it's mine, that is, mine. I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now. Scotland Yard already knew at the time, isn't that right? That Magnus McGilded was involved in the stealing of government secrets. Oh, my orders were. Recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the Ministry. And do it on the QT. Strictly hush-hush. And that explains why, when I presented this disc as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume. Because you knew that it contained highly confidential information. Well, I mean, not likely, I mean, I wasn't that sure of it myself. I realized there was a possibility, that's all. Inspector, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of the music boxes, you did indeed reveal confidential details of the crime scene to the witness, to aid and abet this man in giving false testimony. There's no other way that Mr. Graydon could have known of the existence of the people. It's the only explanation. A deal was struck between these two men. No! Ah.
Objection!
Destroyed. If, and I stress if, this sobering assertion turns out to be founded in truth, it would mean that the second disc is as we speak here in this very courtroom. Wait, what? In this room? How would you possibly make a claim like that? Because Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective. What? What's that supposed to mean, eh? As a seasoned policeman, the inspector will have approached this alleged deal with caution. Certainly, he would not have accepted a gentleman's agreement in this matter. No, he would have insisted on having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand. Good gracious, then, you mean to say... Inspector Gregson already has the item in question in his possession. He has the second disc actually on his person.
Yes!
Yes? Wow, we haven't heard the yes in a while. The defense demands that the inspector is searched at once. Definitely. They could only have struck a deal with each other when Guinea was testifying before, and Gregsy hasn't moved from the witness stand since. My lord, please, order an examination of his personal effects immediately. Well, Inspector... This young man wants to tone down his imagination. He's insulted me and my profession quite enough. However, if it'll put this matter to bed and dispel any doubt about my involvement, then I'll happily submit to a body search. What? He's going to agree to it. I presume you're aware of the precipice on which you now teeter, my learned student friend. You have made a most serious allegation against Scotland Yard here. If, following the search of the inspector's personal effects, no disc is found, you will be deemed unfit for court service. This trial will end, and my country's government will formally demand of yours that you are severely reprimanded. That sounds serious. Indeed, to have a resident student make such defamatory remarks about our country's most senior police force is not something Her Majesty's government will be able to overlook. You're just threatening Runa because you're scared. The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences. Honestly, Iris, that's kind of what all this dude is. He tries to use intimidation a lot, I've realized. It's true. I can't imagine Gregson would have accepted a gentleman's agreement for something so critical. The disc must have physically changed hands, which means the inspector should have it. But somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here. What? Okay. Well, the inspector doesn't care about a body search on himself. So maybe it's not on his person. I don't think it would be on Mr. Graydon, though. Who else? I don't know. Very well, Counsel, you know the implications, and so do I. So let me ask you one final time. Yes, my lord. Do you still persist in formally requesting a search of the inspector's personal effects? Ooh, search someone else? That is a very tempting thing. I don't know who I would search, though. I want to try it, though. Let's search someone else. Yes, the defense formally demands the search to be conducted. Well, don't say you weren't warned, but your typical Nipponese stubbornness may well land you in hot water this time. Perhaps the lesson will do you some good. Fair enough. I've got nothing to hide. Very well, then.
Objection!
Yeah, I was about to say. Oh my... The pathetic slap is back! The defense demands a search, but not of Inspector Gregson. One sec. Sorry about that. I let the cat out of the room and I wanted back in. What? Now what's all this? I'm the one you're accusing, aren't I? I thought you wanted to search me. No, Inspector. Not you. Somebody else. What's the meaning of all this, eh? Lost it at last, have you, Sunshine? The court shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. You're being completely irrational. Oh, really? Be quiet, all of you. I know it was Iris. Could tell by the sound effects. Bruno's doing what you all told him to do and having the courage of his convictions. So you should respect that and listen to what he has to say in good faith. Because that's the British way. Damn. Get utterly destroyed by a 10-year-old, this entire court.
Well said, young lady. Indeed, this court is in awe of the defense counsel's conviction, and eagerly awaits his next words.
What? Now don't be hasty, my lord. If I'm not mistaken about the things I've seen in court today. I'm fairly certain that I know who has the disc at the moment. There's only one person it can be.
Counsel of who?
Okay, let's think things through. Okay, let's think about things that Gregson has done. So, assumingly, when he was talking to Ashley Graydon, that is when he got the disc. Did he interact with anyone else during that time? Oh my god, I just remembered. He was shaking Nash for some reason. We never understood why. He was just being real rough with him at a random point for no reason. It's him, isn't it? Nash.
Take that!
Of my lord, Mr. Nash Skulkin.
Well, I never. Eh? Me? Him?
I can love these two clowns.
Very well then, bailiff. Restrain the witness and conduct a thorough search of his personal effects.
Oh, please, my lord.
Inspector?
Oh shit, we got him. Scotland Yard has to object to the search.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, Inspector, you hold no authority here. I am the Senate. In this courtroom, only the prosecution and the defense have the authority to object.
But Lord Van Zykes.
I have no idea what forces are in play that might influence your actions. But personally, I have no intention of obstructing the course of this trial.
You know, you're a bat. I can never understand you, Van Zykes. Von Zykes. I don't know. Either way, this dude is like a living contradiction half the time, I swear. Sometimes he's against us, sometimes he's with us, sometimes he seems to be for neither. I don't know. Like, it's not like he's constantly just looking for the truth. Because he constantly tries to just put us under the bus. But if it feels like if there is an obvious answer, then he isn't going to turn a blind eye to it, I guess. But
Bailiff, carry out the search. Now hold on a mo. I don't know nothing. Nothing about no disc. Cut it out!
Luigi has been violated. Here, my lord, in the witness's pocket, I find this.
Good lord, that's...
Another music box disc.
I don't know nothing about it. Nothing.
That is the second music box disc left behind by Magnus McGilded. Is it not, Inspector Gregson?
Arg.
You're not even pointing the right way.
Mr. Skulkin, what have you to say for yourself? Oh, Gordon Bennett, I mean, just Gordon Flamin' Bennett. I swear I didn't know nothing about that, just honest to God. Counsel, would you please explain what exactly is going on here? The alleged deal that was struck was between this witness and this detective, no?
Without question, my lord.
Then, for pity's sake, why on earth was this man in possession of the disc the inspector traded for information?
Inspector Gregson is a shrewd, calculating man who rarely loses his composure. But at one particular point in this trial, he exhibited some unusual behavior for a brief moment. Yep.
I don't recall. What unusual behavior?
Oh. It was... Yes, during my cross-examination of Mr. Graydon. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket?
I admit to nothing of the sort.
Yep. While Mr. Graydon answered my questions, the inspector appeared to have grabbed Nash Skulkin by his coat and was shaking him violently.
Yeah, he did and all. Oh, my noggin was gonna fall clean off, I did. I was wishing I'd been born as my brother, I was.
And what exactly happened to make the detective attack you like that?
I ain't got a clue, he just suddenly turned and grabbed me whistle like that. He started shaking me.
Oh my god. Wait, did Gregson plant it on him? And like he didn't even notice he had it on himself?
Why the blazes didn't you mention the third gun when you got down the station? That's what he said. He held it right down my ear, all he did. My hand's still throbbing now.
The way the detective behaved then was extremely out of character. But looking back now, it must have been that's when he did it. That was the opportunity Inspector Gregson created for himself in order to hide the disc.
Well, bless my wig, he did it.
No.
I'm afraid I failed to comprehend the motive here. If the detective had acquired the disc he was after, why on earth would he then proceed to hide it in another man's pocket? This is a court of law. He could have submitted the item as evidence.
No, he couldn't.
It would appear, my lord, that the inspector was not at liberty to do that. Why if not?
As the man himself revealed earlier, his current assignment has some special conditions. Yep.
Hush, hush. Top secret assignment, is it?
As far as we're aware, the information stolen comes from confidential government communications. It would seem that if that information to be revealed in court as evidence, it would be problematic. Does that sum up the situation, Inspector? I'm operating under strict orders from the Ministry. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to answer that question. So, realizing there was a chance that you may be searched here in court, you took steps to hide the disc you had acquired from the witness.
Oh, does this mean...
You only pretended to attack Mr. Skulkin in order to get close enough to him, to slip the second disc into his pocket.
So it was all a pretense?
Man. This is insane.
Well now, Inspector Gregson, and you, Mr. Graydon. Are you prepared to admit to the accusation made against you in this alleged deal?
Huh? Why is this man relaxed? Admit to it, yours truly, please. Mr. Graydon? Clearly our Eastern visitor has an uncommonly active imagination. However, there's no proof that I passed that disc to the inspector.
Objection!
But then, how do you explain the reason why you knew about the people? I'm under no obligation to explain. What? Yes, I lied in my testimony, that I admit, so sentence me accordingly. But this is all I admit. Murder, leaking government secrets, striking a deal with the detective. All of it is this young Eastern man's fantasy. I have no idea what any of that is about.
What?
Well, what about you then, Inspector Gregson? Do you admit to making a deal with Mr. Great in order to acquire the disc? Ladies and gents of the jury, as a Scotland Yard inspector, I will declare this and nothing more. Oh, you little bitch. I am acting in the best interest of the country. Whatever I've done, it's been in the name of justice. You are a little... You little conniving... So, as members of the public of this fine country, I'd like to think that justice will be your guiding light when you're making your decisions. Oh, this dude is frickin' pulling at the heartstrings, you jerk.
Oh, this is quite a quandary indeed. Rarely have I encountered such extraordinary tumultuousness in the concluding of a trial. Nevertheless, in the absence of any further evidence to be presented, I believe it is time that we put the matter to the jury for their final leanings.
Well now, as a fellow servant of Queen and country, I must say I sympathize with the old inspector. Yes, he's a dependable man, I'm quite sure. In service, one becomes a good judge of character.
Even crossing your eyes doesn't help when it comes to looking at this case. It's all blurred to me.
Well, as a fellow professional, I'd like to put my faith in the detective, really. Graydon is highly skilled operator, currently in presence of... Okay, yes, you've said this 3 whole times, lady. Shut up.
Detective has very much trust in eyes. More than this, I cannot say.
I don't believe it. These 6 jurors are... They're gonna believe Gregson. They declared a decision now. Is Skinny gonna be found guilty? I don't manage to produce some definitive evidence right now, then we're gonna lose. If there's some proof that Graydon killed Mr. Windibank, or stole those government secrets, or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with the witness. Something to force one of their hands.
Well then, counsel, I think it's time I impose on the jurors to declare their final decisions, no? That is, unless you have some compelling evidence you have thus far not presented to the court.
If I let the judge call on the jurors to announce their leanings, Gina will be found guilty. So there's no choice then, Reno. You have to throw some more evidence at them. This is it now. It all comes down to this. Ooh, leave it to the jury. Oh yeah, no, that'll go well. I have one idea. Let's go for Gregson. Inspector Gregson, there was one final piece of evidence I would like you to see. What's that, then? If you refuse to acknowledge that you did in fact strike a deal with the witness here today, then you'll leave us no choice but to examine this piece of evidence thoroughly. Well, go on. This is my last chance. Looks like I'm gonna have to force his hand here. Let me just make sure I'm doing something right here. I don't want to mess up. I am going to end this thing here and now.
Take that!
Okay.
Is that Mr. McGilden's music box disc, counsel?
Yes, the first disc of 2, which has already been placed in Mr. McGilden's special music box, ready to play. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound produced by the music box again. Only this time, with both. With the second disc we've just discovered set in place as well.
Goodness, this disc, counsel.
Hold it!
Oh, what are you gonna do?
No, wait, I can't let you do that.
Why not? Because it's got nothing to do with this case. That's why.
Objection!
It's got nothing to do with this case. Then why are you so flustered? Not true, Inspector. Huh? The defense has already proposed. The sound heard by the court earlier from this music box were part of a Morse code message. We know that Morse code comprises of 2 distinct tones. The defense believes that the second disc contains the second tone needed to complete the message. And now we have a chance to confirm that theory. For crying out loud, Sunshine, we're talking about state secrets here. If you go letting the whole courtroom hear confidential information like that, it's treason. What do I care? I'm not from here. And do you admit the charge? Then in order to protect the state secrets, you engage in unlawful dealings with the witness. You're mad. If you let that secret information out into the public domain, you'll be making an enemy of the entire British government, you idiot!
Objection!
I don't give a shit. Let's not forget, Inspector, that you, a Scotland Yard officer, leaked confidential case details to a witness. That you continue to lie to the court. And all because, by fair means or foul, you're determined to do your duty. Well, by fair means or foul, I'm prepared to do mine, motherfucker. Don't you dare. I will stop at nothing to protect my client. I don't care who I make an enemy of. Let's go! What a legend. I love this dude. Ryunosuke is the best. My lord, if you please, the court must hear the sounds made by that music box. Come on, Van Zyx, for Pete's sake, stop him!
Objection!
Boot!
Inspector, you should know my methods by now. I don't give a shit. I'm a prosecutor. I'm no Scotland Yard puppet.
Erg. Yeah, get destroyed. Get owned.
In this courtroom, my duty is to the law, so let me propose a toast to uncovering the truth by fair means or foul.
Claps for this dude. I might not like you some of the time, but right now you are being very cool and I appreciate it. You are cool.
No! Very well. The defense's stance here and that of the prosecution has been made very clear, I feel. Therefore, in accordance with the defense's request, the court will now listen as this music box is set in operation once more.
Juror number 5, be on standby.
Oh ho ho. This time with the second disc in place, and both discs playing simultaneously.
You are destroyed and done for. Be gone from here. You're done. Play it. Oh, listen to that. It's unmistakable now. It's Morse code. Oh, what? Alright, I admit it. Whatever you want, but for the love of God, shut that bloomin' box up! Thus, the case is settled. Yeah, how do you like that, bitch? Let me ask you again, then, Inspector Gregson. Did you, or did you not, strike a deal with the witness next to you in the stand, Mr. Ashley Graydon?
Specifically, did you furnish the witness with confidential case dealings in exchange for this music box disc? Did you reveal the existence of the people in the pawnbroker's storeroom door, Inspector?
Oh, shit. I don't think I've ever seen him like that. Are dirty. Stop! What are you doing, man? It's all exactly like the young Eastern lawyer said. When the trial resumed after the recess and we were stood there in the stand together, that's when he approached me with the deal. Shut up, you imbecile! Shut up! Psst. You there. You're the detective who turned up at the pawnbroker the other day, aren't you? I may have something you're looking for, Inspector. With me at this very moment. So how about a trade? I suggest you accept. For information that may make certain individuals uncomfortable will soon become very public indeed. I couldn't let that information become public knowledge. Not under any circumstance. So I accepted the man's proposal and told him details about the case that should have put him in the clear. The people in the storeroom door, the bloodstains on the overcoat. By giving false testimony, the witness intended to have the defendant wrongly accused of murder. Inspector, you knew that. Yet you still revealed those details to facilitate the witness's perjury. I did. But then it turned out the people had only been made that night after the incident took place. Scotland Yard wasn't aware of that, if I'm perfectly honest. Well, Mr. Graydon, what do you have to say for yourself? There's nothing and no one left for you to hide behind. You struck a deal with the inspector in order to escape conviction of a very serious crime. Namely this. You were the third intruder who broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question. And you perpetrated the murder of the proprietor, Mr. Pop Windibank. You! Traitor! Oh shit, my man's dead. Bruh. Freaking spin up his food. Yo, he's suspended in midair. That dude's dead. Bailiff, restrain that man! At once! Yo, is Gregson okay? Holy shit! That's it then. Holy fuck! Bro! That was insane! Oh my god. He went off on him. Gregson tried to frickin' run away, but he just frickin' tried to choke him to death. With a half-broken cane. It's all over. Oh my god. Holy shit. Okay. Next time on Great Ace Attorney, we're gonna finish this once and for all. I mean, we already finished it, but I mean, we're going to see the conclusion of this case and see the aftermath. And yeah. Then in between... Oh man. I also have the escapades to play. I don't know when I'm gonna do that. I don't know if I should do it. Maybe I'll do it like in between the final case of this game and the first case of the next. I don't know. Maybe I'll list them as bonus episodes. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, next time on Great Ace Attorney, we're going to see the conclusion. Adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time. Ja, mata ne.